Fleischer, former White House press secretary and Fox News contributor, Lee Carter, pollster and president of Meslansky and Partners, and Leslie Marshall, Fox News contributor. Great group. So glad to have all of you with us today. I want to jump right in, if I may, on this issue of David Ignatius's Washington Post op-ed. Ari, what was your reaction when you saw this? And does it signal a turning point in the decision of whether or not the current president does indeed end up running again? You have said for a very long time that Joe Biden will not be the candidate.
Yeah, this really has to sting, and sting deeply inside the White House. It reminds me a little bit of when Maureen Dowd of the New York Times wrote a column chastising Biden for not acknowledging his grandchild. And then, because that stung so bad, he acknowledged his grandchild. This has a similar effect. And if you're at the White House, you got to be saying, we've got to prevent other David Ignatius from writing this same story, because it could become a stampede. This has been Joe Biden's greatest vulnerability all along. It's not what Republicans say. It's if Democrats ask him to step down, thank him for his service, and look to the next generation and friendly reporters. They have pressure, they have influence, they have a voice with this White House. This is thin ice for the Biden White House.
Yeah, pretty stunning. Let me go to Leslie on this. That not only does he suggest that President Biden needs to step aside, he says Kamala Harris also must go. That was a jaw dropper to me. I mean, if I may, let me just play this from Joe Scarborough this morning, Leslie, and then we'll get your comment on the other side of this, if I may. Thanks.
We often will complain about Republicans who will say one thing about Donald Trump off the air and another on air. Well, let me just say, Democrats off the air will say Joe Biden's too old. Why is he running? On the air, they won't say that. So I commend David for at least raising the question.
Leslie.
Look, there's opinion and then there are facts. And the fact is that every election is based on numbers. And right now, if the election were held today, you have 302 electoral votes for Joe Biden. That more than puts him over the finish line. Any incumbent, president, governor, representative, senator, has an advantage, whether they're a Democrat or Republican, and regardless of their age. We're seeing Republicans rally around Mitch McConnell, and then out of the other side of their mouth, they're chastising the president. The president is not going to run or not run based on David's article any more than the polls, any more than Donald Trump is going to say, well, I'm not going to run because the majority of voters don't want me to run. 44% of those Republicans. That's not going to be the decision making. Joe Biden, I'm going to put it out here, and Ari, I would disagree with you. He's going to run. He's going to win. And you have me on the record for that. I'm not saying that because I hope as a Democrat, just because that's what the numbers show. And that's what the numbers will continue to show, I believe.
Okay, Lee, in this piece that Ignatius writes, he says Joe Biden has a hard time saying no. He says he should have said no to Harris as VP. He should have said no to Nancy Pelosi going to Taiwan. He should have said no for his son joining Burisma. And now he has an opportunity to say no and to do the right thing for the country. Where do you think voters are on this question, Lee?
Well, look, I think a majority of Americans are with David. They agree that Joe Biden shouldn't run again. 70% of Americans say that he shouldn't. And it's similar with Donald Trump. So that doesn't mean that they're going to step down. But he makes a very important point. Number one, he makes the point based on his age. Number two, on the unpopularity of Kamala Harris, which is significant. And the third thing that we need to tie in here is with these impeachment things coming up, we've got about 80% of Americans who say there is a two-tier system of justice, that people are treated unfairly, that on one hand, they see the way they're treating Donald Trump. On the other hand, they see the way that they're treating Joe Biden and Hunter Biden, and they think that it is different. They feel like there's a different set of principles that are held to the ruling class elite, of which they do not think Donald Trump is part. And I think this is significant because it could really energize Republicans even more to say this is so unfair. So Joe Biden does find himself in a very precarious situation right now, and very, very thoughtfully needs to think about how he moves forward. And it's not just going to be about spending $25 million in campaign saying that he is, sprightly and old enough, or young enough, I'm sorry, not old enough, young enough to run for office again. It's going to take something much more significant
than that. It's a big splash ad campaign, $25 million, Ari, that shows him as vibrant. But the problem is people see him on TV all the time. People saw him in Hanoi at that speech. And Ignatius makes the point that he came forward with his thinking on this because time is running out. What do you think? What do you see happening now, Ari? What are the discussions? Does it provoke any new discussion, or is this just off the table and there's no question that Biden will keep charging forward?
No, I think the Democrats are committing political malpractice by not having an insurance policy in place. If something happens to Joe Biden, if he has one more stumble, one health scare, or the Democrats really say we need somebody else, who do they have? They should have a primary. Somebody should step up and challenge Joe Biden for the good of the Democratic Party. The convention is the final place. They could make a change at the convention.
Wow. I mean, it's stunning. Here's RFK Jr., because you say somebody should step up and run against him. He's out there going, hello. And my poll numbers are better than a lot of the people on the Republican debate stage, so he would like a shot at it. Here he is.
It's important for the American people to know that their president has the vigor to handle this very rigorous job. And I think there are enough doubts about that now that President Biden really needs to come out and have unscripted meetings and interactions with voters, that he needs to do some town halls and some retail politics and hopefully a debate.
Hopefully a debate. Thank you to all of you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.